girl named Paris, she's so grand. Shows me a palace, a wonderland. Lay down with me. I've got a train running through my veins. I've got a mouth of gasoline. I know when to breathe fire in, how to keep composed.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, and welcome to the GoodKitty show, where we are going to be talking to Kahn Morbee and Josie Field with regards to the brand new album coming to Stax through Gated on the 19th of November called When Walls Break. Kahn and Josie are two of the incredible musicians that are on the album. And we are going to be chatting with them a little bit about their sort of musical history, the tracks that they've written, and then we've got a very, very special end to the show where Josie and Kahn are going to be giving you a very first sneak preview of their two tracks. So please hang around till the end of the show. Please pop your comments down below, because we will be answering you. We'll be giving shout outs. We're very keen to know what you're interested in and what you're thinking. So, right, before we get into the interview, I'm just going to give you a little intro of what Blocktune is, what Gated is, and Stax as well, for those new to the ecosystem and to what we're talking about. So Blocktune is a new kind of record label. It is what we're calling a sound network, which is a fresh approach to the business model that musicians traditionally use. It's a move away from record labels, a move away from streaming platforms, and really a drive towards the idea that musicians can receive a creator worth income. We're looking to sort of move towards independent, artist-driven, peer-to-peer networks, and really to create a place where musicians can actually earn for what they create. Okay. We are going to be celebrating the upcoming release of When Walls Break today. As I said, it's a unique collaboration featuring 8 artists, 8 musicians, and each one of the 8 tracks was written and recorded specifically for this album. So they're very, very special to the Stax community. And each track has been paired with a distinctive artwork by one of our Stax OG visual artists. So you are going to be getting a beautiful piece of music by one of the 8 musicians, and you're also going to be getting a stunning artwork. The musicians, 2 of them, as I said, Kahn Morbee with his track Buzzhead and Josie Field with hers Radio Silence. We are going to be, as I said, listening to those tracks a little bit later as we get them performed live for us for the Stax community. So super excited about that. Sorry about all the intro. I'm really just trying to, before we start, explain a little bit about this gigantic new experience that we are moving towards. So please bear with me another couple of seconds. We're building a platform called Gated. It is brand spanking new. So you won't find these tracks on streaming platforms or anywhere else. You can get a sneak preview. You can get a sneak preview of the platform at gated.so. It is not in its finished state, but it gives you an idea of where we're moving towards. The artworks are blurred out, as you can see. Those will be revealed to you on Mint Day. Mint Day is the 19th of November, and you can preview 30-second clips of the tracks as well. All right, my last little blurb, Stax takes the strong foundation of Bitcoin, the hardest money, the most decentralized money, and it builds an extra layer on top of it, which means you can do more with Bitcoin than just send money. With stacks, people can create apps, digital collectibles, or even manage the ownership of things like art or music. So if Bitcoin was the gold, stacks is the jeweler, and the apps on top of it are the jewelry. So Bitcoin, stacks where we're building gated, and then the music on top of that. So it's this kind of diagram gives you a little bit of a very simple idea of what it is. Okay, we'll be making sure, as I said, that we're going to give you a shout out. So please make sure to drop your comments down below. And before we kick off, just a huge thanks to Nick of Bitcoin Live DB, who's behind the scenes, and to also Peace Love from the organized media, both of them for making the show possible today. Right, thanks for bearing with me. Let's kick it off. Hello, Josie. Hello, Kahn. It is so good to have you today. Thank you for your patience. How are you guys? Josie, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, thanks. It's a very dreary Saturday afternoon here in the UK. So I'd much rather be here with you.
Yeah, it looks very snug. I must say, you've created a very snug little vibe
space
over there.
Yeah,
So,
you have to, because it's just miserable out there. But yeah, anyway, here we
I
are.
lived there for a couple of years, and especially when you come from South Africa, where even when it's cold, it's not cold.
Yeah, or not cold for long, at least. I think, I think as a South African, you think, oh well, moving to the UK, everyone's on about the weather, it can't be that bad. But yeah, you soon realize that it's another whole ball game, and you need a whole new wardrobe, basically.
I know, it's crazy. And I mean, I came from Durban, and then I moved to Cape Town. When I moved here to Cape Town, I didn't even have a jacket. The coldest we'd get was like a cardigan, you know?
Yeah.
So then I had to get jackets when I got here. And then it was like, okay, moving to the UK where you put like a coat on top of your jacket, you know? So, but anyway, so I'm glad you look very cozy. And Kahn, you also look very cozy. Where are you in the world?
I'm a similar weather pattern to Josie's. I'm in the Netherlands, so it's also pretty gloomy and cold outside. Yeah.
But also looking very snug.
Thank you.
Well, I'm in the howling gales at the southern tip of Africa, where it's actually making me deaf with the wind that's blowing. It is like diabolical over here. Yeah.
In Cape Town?
Yeah. You both lived in Cape Town, didn't you?
No, I've never lived in Cape Town, but Laurie does, who's also on the album.
Yeah.
She moved to Hout Bay, and I think a lot of the artists are based in Cape Town these days.
Yeah, Arno, Art, Earfoot, Laurie. So yeah, four of you are. Yeah. But and Zander. No, not Zander. Jacques. So yeah, all right, let's get into some questions. So let's kick off with you, Kahn. Your journey with the Parlotones began pretty early in your life, I think, while you were still at high school, if I'm correct.
No, varsity, yeah.
Varsity, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, some sort of learning institution. So okay, let's just say that you were in a learning institution.
Yeah.
And you kind of began your journey with the band that you were frontman of for a very long time. Do you want to kind of talk about, first of all, what inspired you to get into music? If you always knew you were a musician, did you just kind of like, sometimes I speak to musicians, you just kind of like go, I picked up a guitar and I wrote a hit song. And some people kind of work for a very long time to get there. So tell us about your journey.
Well, yeah, I always loved music, and I always loved singing. And there was sort of a period when I was in high school where it was popular to kind of bands started emerging, and I think the more popular scene at the time in South Africa was the grunge scene, and I went to audition for a whole bunch of bands, but sadly I didn't sound like Kurt Cobain or Eddie Vedder. You know, I had a more sort of female voice, and so I never got the gig. And then that's when I decided, well, the only way I'm gonna get into a band is if I start my own band, and the only way I'm gonna be able to start my own band is if I actually have songs and I can play an instrument. And so that's when I started.
Art. That's a very good start. That's why I say art is because it sounds very much like Art's story. Listening to him last week.
I really, yeah.
It was like I didn't have a guitar, I didn't have any songs, but I got a gig.
No, I didn't have a gig. I had nothing. So yeah, and then I actually felt guitar was very difficult for me initially, and that's actually what I think accelerated my songwriting journey, because I just said, I don't know, bar chords, B flat, all of these, you know, my hands and my mind just didn't kind of work that way. I just put my fingers somewhere and started creating songs. Probably wrote 100 really bad songs, all in the key of C. And yeah, and then you know, that sort of evolved. As fate would have it, Paul, the guitarist, was in university with me. His younger brother happened to come around to a practice when we eventually decided to get together. And Neil was in the same standard at school as Paul. So we all went to the same primary and high school. And we all, you know, although we had diverse music interests, there were a core bunch of bands that we all agreed upon, if you know what I mean. We all liked a similar style. So, and I think we were all in a very similar place in terms of where we were in our learning curve in terms of our instruments. So there were no real egos. You know, no one was better than someone else. We were all pretty shit, and we we kind of grew together. And yeah, I mean, we still play. We played a gig last week in Cyprus, and I'm coming out to South Africa in December to do a tour. Yeah, so I mean, look, that was the early stages of the
Did you? I mean, you said you just sat down and wrote those songs. Now, had you was that the first time you kind of went, okay, now I'm going to be a songwriter and I'm going to write songs? Or did you kind of tinkered with songwriting or poetry or?
No, not really.
Angst, scribbles.
I think my you know, my idea was I wanted to be a singer in a band, and I think the rejection from multiple auditions made me realize that I needed to kind of start my own band. There was no real, and then my frustration with learning the guitar led to me writing my own songs.
Amazing.
Yeah, so I'd learn a little bit, and then that would, you know, maybe I was the original ADHD patient, but my mind would kind of veer off into another direction. So
it's crazy because you're such a great, I mean, you know, you write such incredible lyrics. You're such an incredible songwriter. So it's such an interesting story that just kind of like appeared out of nowhere because you wanted to be in a band.
Yeah, and look, I think I've always been a big fan of music and a big fan of just art, and you know, I've consumed or create you know, creations, whether it be movies or books. So I consume a lot, and you know, I think all of us are ultimately a product of what we digest, and that is why I'm a banana. I don't know.
And I'm a pawpaw. I'm a blueberry, strawberry, and pawpaw.
A smoothie.
I'm such a smoothie. All right. So, Josie, your career, did it also start? I mean, talking about how Kahn kind of just jumped into songwriting and stuff. Where did you start? You've got this very it's funny because when you talk, I can actually hear your singing voice, and I'm an incredible fan of it. This kind of blues, folk, soul, feeling, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, do you want to tell me, so for you, what are these
Yeah.
influences? How did they shape you? How did you get into music? Because you've always been a solo artist, right?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I've always wanted to be a bit in a band too, but I was in a band in high school, and it was that grunge kind of band, but they kicked me out because they wanted a male singer. So then I just similar story to Kahn, you know, you just have to kind of forge your own way. But yeah, I was writing songs in high school. I was collecting, you know, songs and just doing it as a way of dealing with, I don't know, high school life, I guess. And that's how it started. And then later on, I had opportunities to perform or, you know, open mics and things like that. And it just kind of slowly grew little by little in that way. Yeah, I must say, my youngest claim to fame was, there was this place in Santon called the Blues Room years ago. I'm sure you both
I
remember it.
remember the Blues Room.
Yeah. So
Really used to
I
run it.
went in there one night, and I was young. I was like 17 or something. I went to watch someone's band. So I was a big music fan, and I was at all the gigs. Like, I wanted to watch all the music and soak it up, and that's what I love, like live music. And I went to watch a friend's band there, and then on the way out, I just said to the lady at the front desk, I said, "How do you get a gig here?" And then the owner, I forgot his name, he just opened the back door,
George.
his office. George,
Yes.
yeah. He
Yeah.
opened the back door, and he's got that American accent. He's like, "Well, you know, can you sing?" And I was like, "Well, yes." And he's like, "Come in here." And he had a guitar. He handed me a guitar. I sat down. He's like, "Play me a song." And so I played him a song. And then he's like, "Okay, I can fit you in next month or whatever." And I was the youngest person to ever play at the Blues Room, according to, I don't know, the Santon Times or whatever the hell it was.
No way, Josie. What a way. You know, I love listening to people's stories about how they started off being a musician. I mean, both your stories. Kahn just wanted to be in a band, so he just wrote some songs. You two, and you just walk past in a venue. I want a gig here. You know, they're always such interesting stories, like, you know, compared to like, oh, I want to be a doctor. Okay, no, I went to varsity for 7 years and then became a doctor. You know, there's such clear-cut pathways where music is, you know, besides being a creative thing, it's often got these like super creative stories, but you know, when they start. Anyway.
Yeah. Sometimes where there's a will, it just happens organically. And luckily at the time, you know, in Joburg, there was a few things happening. And then I also worked at Roxy's at the Rock Bar in Melville.
Oh,
Remember
wow.
that?
2 months, and that was me like doing my research. You know, I was serving people black labels and beers, but I was actually just researching all the bands that were playing at the time.
That's so funny. I remember I don't remember the first time I saw you, Josie. But I remember the first time I saw Kahn, and it was actually in Namibia.
Oh, wow. Jeepers.
Yeah. You were supporting, I think, either the Nude Girls or something like that. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, I mean, we played there like maybe 3 times max or 4 times. So I think they used to have like a U vibe there, or Huisgenoot, or one of the.
Yeah, like it was like a festival vibe.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just was thinking about that now when you were talking about, you know, getting a gig. Anyway, so Josie, we were talking before the show just about, you know, you taking a break from songwriting, and kind of, I think it's probably like very important in or you know, recording, songwriting, but I also think that's such an important thing to do, right? To kind of clear your palette of, because it must be quite intense, like having to produce these songs and record and put out an album. And
yeah, you know. I mean, I think for the first majority of my career, obviously I was doing it full time. That was my thing. That's all I did. And with that came some challenges, financial challenges mostly. So I got to a point where a few years ago, I just took a break. I went traveling for a while. And then I decided to settle in the UK. So at that point, I'd taken a break from music for like 2-3 years, and only just the last couple of years started doing music locally here in the UK and writing some new stuff. And just falling in love with it again. I think I needed to have a break and some perspective in order to just re-energize and kind of refill and regroup what it is that I'm doing. I know that I'll never not be able to write music and continue a music journey, and I hope to get back into it full time eventually, but I've just taken the pressure off. I don't do music full time, and I don't need to rely on it to feed me anymore, which is a blessing, because then I can just do what I truly want to do, and that is and then I don't also have to do musical gigs or anything that I sometimes would, do out of desperation. So it's a better place to be for me currently. But yeah, I mean, if I had it my way, I would have my home studio. I would just be in my pajamas all day writing songs. That's all I want to do. So that's the goal. That's where I'm headed.
But that's the thing. You say it's a blessing, but it's also a curse, because this is what we're here to do. I mean, this is a very hot topic for what we're doing at Blocktune, for what we're doing at Gated, for what we're doing at Stacks, for everything, for what Bitcoin stands for, for taking back, and just that I've been saying, a creator worth income. It's an income that gives worth to what you guys are doing, and I've said this on many of the shows I've done. Artists record our history. They give us the evidence that we were here, and they write about the future as well. And music is such a part of our lives. It's around us every single day. I see one of the guys has written here in the comments, music is the secret of life. And that's the truth, right? And the fact that you can't have a home studio, and you can't be in your pajamas all day writing songs, recording songs, and actually not having to go on tour when you don't want to have to go on tour. And that's what we need to do, is kind of reclaim the right to do that.
Yeah, that artists have an important role to play, and that basically, if you took music out of the whole equation, what is there to live for? in my sole opinion, like, what would we do without music? That's our escapism. That's how we relax. That's how we party. That's how we enjoy life.
It holds our memories.
When you're there.
It holds our memories.
Yeah.
Think about it. You hear a piece of music, you instantly transport it. It's fucking time travel, man.
Yeah, it is actually.
Art, I mean, oh, fuck. Why am I'm going to call you Art? Okay, we just renamed you.
Yeah.
What the hell is wrong with me? I'm so sorry, Kahn.
That doesn't matter.
Okay, so let's talk about that for you. What has been your experience of sort of your financial situation when it comes to music? And I mean, obviously, it's a difficult subject to talk about. Not everybody wants to talk about it, but just in terms of your thoughts about this, about an income that's worth.
I mean, yeah, sure. Look, I think we did okay. It's not like we were high rollers or anything, but I think COVID really flatlined the music industry in general, and it kind of took the wind out of our sails, and it's almost like an engine that was very hard to restart after that. And it's I always thought that the music industry had a finite timeline, or your time in the industry, you had a finite shelf life, and every year you rebooted, kind of thing, like you went back to zero. There was no certainty on how your earnings would look for the future, or whether you'd even have a fan base anymore. So yeah, and then obviously COVID came, and that really kind of, now we're all just part-time musicians, and actually, in a weird way, we appreciate it more
Yeah.
now, because when we do it, everyone's got their own sort of jobs and stuff that they're doing, but when we do come together, we love it. We love the process, and we even love the tours. But there was a time when you were kind of just, you know, laboring on the road all the time, touring consistently, and not actually enjoying the process. Became burdensome rather than something that we were passionate about.
Yeah.
Whereas now when we do it, it's like, yeah, it's refreshing. We revitalized by it rather than deflated, or rather than having our batteries drained, which it felt like for the longest time in the industry. It just felt like you were like hiking Everest the whole time. Like everything was against you. Like this, the fact that you make no money from streaming, the fact that you got to consistently tour, and even that, like I felt like the ticket price in South Africa was been 200 rand for like the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Everything else went up, but our ticket price
Crazy.
or your gig fee. Yeah, it's like a but then again, going to what Josie said earlier, time away from it, like COVID actually, in some regard, made us kind of reassess what the aspects that we do love about it. And, you kind of reflect and you realize that you do miss it. And then maybe it's about reevaluating how you approach it, rather than being pulled in a direction or in various directions that you may not, really want to do.
Yeah.
Rather
So,
dictate those terms, which I guess is what your the ethos behind your project is us dictating the terms of engagement.
That's right.
I've probably gone off topic, but you know what I'm.
No, roll with it. I mean, there's no topic. It's
Yeah,
just music. The topic is music, whatever we want to talk about.
yeah. So Kahn so what's your like, what does your day look like at the moment, day to day, music wise? What are you busy with?
Yeah, so I'm quite of I probably am what you were referring to there as a pajama producer.
Oh, cool.
So
That's like the ultimate.
You're living Josie's dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've coined the phrase "dad exec" because that's pretty much what I am these days. / football trainer.
Okay.
Kind of, yeah. I look after my 3 young boys with my wife. Obviously, she's got the corporate job, and yeah, and then every now and again I get to go and do some tours to earn a bit of money. But yeah, I'm kind of living your dream. So it's yeah.
Yes, you are. That's like the ultimate.
Yeah.
Watch the space. I will.
Join
You know,
the
we can do this again in 2 or 3 years. I'll be there.
Yeah.
That's right. So yeah, talking about just keeping on topic with the music industry. So it's obviously changed a lot over the years, but it's never quite been like in favor of artists, right? The record deals kind of were, here, take your 10%. It kind of, I always think it's like, it wasn't options, it was blackmail, because it was like, for 10%, we'll give you a full range of our services. For 80%, we'll give you like one service. Or the other way around. So, those artists who weren't getting the full service weren't really getting anything besides being put into the record store. And I kind of, in a way, I understand, not that I'm pro those deals, but if you look at them comparatively to the streaming deals, right? In our record label days, they did have to, print the product and manage that. They had to warehouse the stuff. They had to distribute the stuff. They had to make sure with deals they got into record stores, and we got on those, end of the aisle things or whatever they're called. But what you guys earn now is less than what you earned then. But now it's just a button,
Yeah, yeah, they're really doing nothing for us.
Yeah. We have to fill in all the stuff, okay? So you have to go and sit, if you're putting it on a digital aggregator, you have to figure all that like a fucking confusing stuff out.
Yeah.
You load it up, you then get it out, you then do all the social media. You're the one who goes onto Spotify and has to like sort out whether you got a playlist. You do all the social media and you earn less.
No, exactly. In fact, you just waste your time.
Yeah, because you don't earn anything actually.
There's one currency that we all, well, for me, that I value the most. It's time, and I'm like, fuck you guys for the time. I'd really rather would have written 4 more songs than blah 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 Facebook and social media and I'm like, I really this I'm a big cynic, but I really don't appreciate it. Like, I don't enjoy that world.
No, and it's, you know what, the content is getting more and more, you can't just put a poster on saying I'm doing this gig here, or, a picture of yourself or a little video saying like, I mean, it's got to be like, the algorithms and,
It's got to be a Hollywood production.
Yeah.
So you're going to see the opposite of a Hollywood production when we perform our songs.
That's right. We are taking music back to its roots, what it's supposed to look like, and we're not doing Hollywood productions here, okay? Also, I kind of think that there needs to be, that's why when I talk about blockchain, it's a kind of sound network, a decentralized.
I do want to interject on something where I think where things have changed is when there was a sort of, the traditional industry, record label industry, they kind of made music scarce in a way, because obviously it was physical. They could only, the process was a lot longer. And because it was expensive, it was a little more scarce. It wasn't as abundant as it is now. Everything was expensive to record it, to distribute it, to print the records or the CDs. So that meant there was fewer artists that kind of got through to the collective zeitgeist. Now everything's a lot cheaper. The process is a lot cheaper to record and document and distribute. Now, if you just go to economics 101, demand and supply, as supply goes through the roof, demand is obviously going to be, it's easy come. It's not as, and I think that is why we all earn less. It's just the sheer abundance, the sheer volume, and artists, even though it's like what are we going to do? Are we gonna stop making music? Like, are we, as a protest? We're going to strike and go, that's it. I'm not making music. That's in our DNA. It's like telling us not to breathe.
Yeah, unfortunately, as artists, we don't have a choice but to create and keep creating, no matter what the results are.
We're not driven by the results, actually.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like more of a selfish endeavor. Is the act of, or the process of creation is just something that's really fulfilling and wonderful. So you do it for yourself, or you're in a group, if you're recording together, first and foremost, and then the audience comes second or last. And to be honest, that's the way I think it should be. We should be creating for the pure joy of it, and then if other people connect with that, then that's awesome.
So then, could you argue that if we get paid for that, are they paying for our therapy?
They're paying for our art, which is our therapy.
I know the art is what happens at the end, but the process is, for us, it's cathartic or therapeutic.
True, there is some truth in that.
No, I'm just being facetious. But yes, we should pay for our therapy. Yeah, yeah. Because I believe if we've gone through a process that is kind of therapeutic, then maybe when they listen to it, it will have also a cathartic result.
Absolutely.
Music is also therapy, so
Yeah.
it's a symbiotic therapy session.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. And I think as artists, it's important to be true to yourself and your own integrity. Sometimes we get drawn into projects, or like, for instance, I don't know, like cover bands, for instance. That's like a whole different ball game. But if you are a cover artist, especially here where I am, you can make a decent living just gigging, in the pub regularly. And you can make a decent living doing that kind of work. However, that is not me. My idea of music is the creating process, and the writing process, and I feel like I'd rather be doing some form of work completely different altogether than doing the cover band scene, which I respect and I appreciate, because I feel like for me, music will lose its therapeutic value if I don't do it in the way that my heart tells me to do it. So yeah, I can't. It's a weird one. I think music has these different like channels.
Some people love playing and
Yeah,
performing, and
yeah,
the story is irrelevant, or not irrelevant, but the story isn't the main
secondary.
character.
Yeah,
But for us, creating is the main character. So I'm the same with
exactly.
you.
Yeah,
I've those cover artists love the sheer craft of playing guitar or drums and getting that process right,
yeah,
and they generally are phenomenal musicians. They can
true.
bend between genres and do flick flacks on their guitar. But I think they're driven by a different. They attach a different value to
True.
music.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah.
I
But
love it. I love it. I love listening to you. I keep forgetting I'm actually like supposed to be asking the questions here. So I just want to say to you guys, okay, listen, I'm just going to sit back and you carry on. Yeah, it's very interesting, what you were saying, Josie, about not actually being able to do. It's, you can't force yourself to be making music that is not the music that is inside you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's just my own story. I mean, everyone's obviously different and other musicians will see it differently, but I just realized that more and more about myself as I've gone through the process and gone through this musical journey and had breaks from it and perspective. And it's like, right, what do I really love about it? What do I connect with most? And to be honest, it's the writing part, it's the creating part, it's the voice part. So as long as I can keep telling my story, then it will keep filling me up. But regardless of if anyone's listening or not, it's irrelevant. But if I can keep telling my story, that's how I can enjoy it to the max potential.
Yeah. Kahn, do you so you kind of working full-time as a musician at the moment, producer, musician. What is your full-time situation at the moment?
Yeah, just when I produce it, when I say pajama producer, I'm not producing anyone else. I just do my own stuff, my
Okay.
own stuff, and then also Parlotones.
Are you writing an album? What are you up to?
Yeah. So I've just finished writing a solo one, and
Yeah.
I'm kind of halfway through the Parlotones one.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'm ready to release the solo one, but I'm waiting for this thing to run its course. So I'll leave it till next year, and then and then probably towards the end of next year do release the Parlotones one in whatever format. Hopefully this one is the way forward.
Oh my God, guys, we're still so early. I promise you, it's like this is very, very it's a very pioneering thing what you guys are doing, and I'm so thankful to each one of you for kind of just jumping in, and but I feel every musician I speak to actually just goes like, okay, I'm keen to do it. And I think it's because everybody's just so like, they've had it with the fact that they like earning enough money to buy a toasted sandwich with their streams. And like Kahn says, the ticket prices are still the same than they were in 1999 when you go to a live gig, and so the merch.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, is that stopping you guys really from being like proper full-time music? Not that I'm saying you're not a proper full-time musician, but I mean, you're not kind of touring and releasing maybe as regularly as you can. I mean, it's just money, right? I mean, just the fact that you get paid like shit.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's also I I've got 3 young kids. I don't want to be on the road, and the only way to really make money is to be on the road a lot. And
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Imagine you could make money from releasing music.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like the industry's flipped, because back in the day when there was the big label gatekeepers, most artists actually lost touring. They used touring as a way to sell bucket loads of albums, and they made all their money from the albums and lost money touring, because it was these big stadium grandiose productions. Whereas now it's the other way around. But yeah, it would be great. Obviously, it would be great if you could, release your creations into the world and actually make money from it. And I'm like, I don't think any of us are greedy and saying we want to be, retired billionaires, although that would be nice. But like I think they did an article not so long ago where most musos, when you equate the amount of time that they spend rehearsing, recording, doing their thing, just traveling on the road to get from gig to gig, per hour, if you break it down, they are well below the minimum wage. Like you can go get a job at McDonald's and actually, if you put that amount of hours in, you'll earn more than as a musician.
And that's like a relatively successful musician, you mean? It's not like
it's not. Yeah, it's someone that can actually say, I'm making money off my music.
Yeah.
They
weird.
Yeah. So the hours that you pour in doesn't, you don't quite get it back. And I don't think there is one easy fix. I think what you're doing is an aspect or component of it. And it's like either the artist burnout, where you have to have that moment where you self-reflect and you go, maybe we just earn money as a hobby, and now and again you kind of get some money from streaming, but like on realistically, if I was a career advisor, I'd be like, and it was a young teenager, I'd have to be honest and say it's definitely not a viable career option. Of course you're going to rent, and I think there's a Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yeah,
you get sort of self-fulfillment. There's an article also where it speaks about the inverted Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We reach that fulfillment. That's the first thing, and then we worry about survival, and those all those other basics needs later on down the line. We're like, yeah, man, the soul's enriched. I'm living my best life. Here's my money for my.
I just can't live in this world. This one's not made for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Kahn, what are you going to tell your kids? Are you going to encourage them to play music?
Well, I mean, I encourage in my subtle ways. There's instruments all over the house. There's a piano. I'm never going to force them to go for lessons or do anything like that. And I'll be honest with them. If they ever ask, can you make money from it? I'll be like, not at the moment.
Yeah.
But GoodKitty is onto something.
Yeah.
And maybe, I mean, if we're at the early stages, maybe in 10 years' time there'll be or maybe this is just the way it has to be.
Yeah.
It's always been. I mean,
Yeah, I suppose it also depends what your priorities are, and priorities change from person to person and phase to phase in life. So maybe, music is important at certain phases and money is a little bit less important, or,
Yeah, and I mean, I think Kitty's mentioned it earlier where you said that music is a blessing and a curse. I think the blessing is there's very few people that actually know what they want out of life, or what what their purpose should be. It's almost like music picks you, but that does mean that it's a very volatile, uncertain career path.
Sure.
Like
I don't even know if you can call it a career path.
It's just like Bitcoin, man. Musicians should be happy to earn Bitcoin. It's just like up one day, down the next, wherever it's going. It's just like the music industry, man.
Yeah. So, but also I do know that's life. In the blink of an eye, we'll be atoms and stardust. So, may as well live the best version of events that you can.
Yeah.
And
that's what we hear, like you say, to change. And it's one of the hardest things is teaching people to pay for music again.
Yeah.
And it's been a hard decision for me even on how to price the album. Because with Spotify, they changed everything, and they, with streaming, I mean. And that's where, to me, the biggest mistake was made, is they took away this, that you actually paid for this thing. And it would have been very different now, because as we moved more digitally, there would be less work to do and more money to earn. So that's where what we're doing comes in, because you price that album or that track, and you say, look, this is what I want to earn, and that goes to you. You pay a small percentage to you can choose as well. You can pick and choose. You can say, okay, I want someone to do my social media, so I'm going to add them to do that, the social media for that track until that time, and then your contract pays them. There's no even accounting. It just all happens in the contract. It's quite fantastic. So, and what's interesting about music, and I've said this many times as well, is if you look at the movement of music technologically from vinyl to tape to CD to MP3 and to streaming and now to this, it has moved so quickly through technology, the way we consume it, the way it's created, the way it's distributed, everything about it has changed completely. Which means music moves through technology very quickly. And I think music leads us in a way through technology, because it's consumed so much by everybody. And so I really believe that music is going to be one of the biggest onboarders of this new technology, because if we make the apps simple enough, we're working with a wallet provider where that wallet is just created when you create your profile on your app. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible for people to use. And like Kahn said earlier, it's very obvious what you have to do. If you go on to Sound XYZ is a big platform on Ethereum. And I was very inspired by them. But at the same time, it's very confusing when you go on their homepage, like what you're supposed to do. And there's all these options. And so we really wanted to move away from that as the first iteration. So anyway, I'm looking forward to having you on it, and I hope you guys are too. I know that you're not 100% familiar with all this technology, which is fine because nobody is really. Maybe even not me. And it just changes every day anyway. But
the pace of
I'm
it.
glad you're happy to embrace it. You know?
Absolutely. It's important to try new things and see how they work out.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, and I always, yeah, you know, as musicians, we'll always be dreamers, so we're always gonna say, why not? Why not try it?
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, and also, you know, I think we, yeah, and we're also curious adventurers, in you know, so I think it's nothing to lose, right?
Yeah.
We've already written the song. We've already gone
Yeah.
through the repeating
Yeah.
process.
Job's done, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, let's see. So, all right, let's move on to some music.
Cool.
Do you want to go first, Josie? Do you want me to go first?
I think you should go first.
Okay.
Let the pro go first.
Oh no. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it, Kahn?
Yeah, I kind of spoke about this briefly in our last sort of session. You know, sometimes I kind of have a melody line bouncing around and some words sort of spill out. Normally it starts with vowels, and then you kind of try and find words that fit those vowels. And I had this chorus, Buzzhead, aluminum, and I like the play on words because Americans would say aluminum, and you know, maybe sort of more British or South Africans would say aluminium. So I was kind of like flitting between those two. And then it was more like a just words spilling out. Sometimes I try and keep a consistent narrative, and this time there is no real consistent narrative. It's not like there's a theme that's you know, throughout the song that works. And then I stumbled across this sort of anonymous poet named Atticus. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. And he's got this line, which I've now morphed into the end of the song. So I don't know exactly his line, but it's kind of like, when I've reached death, you know, I hope I'm late for death. I'm still in love and a little drunk. So that kind of cements the end of the song. But when before that, there's a little bit of a darker line, because it goes, I've been thinking about life. I've been thinking about how to end it with a bang, or late in love and little. I think we'd all prefer to be late in love and little drunk. But sometimes that's not your, and bang is more like a metaphor. It's not like just suicidal. It could just be like something sudden, heart attack. But it also was kind of, you know, when I said earlier, like all the stuff you consume kind of percolates, and then you kind of write stuff about it. There was a movie called Three Billboards Outside of Mississippi.
I remember that.
It's the longest title ever, but you know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was quite a deep philosophical message in there that I don't really have the answer to, but you know, the protagonist, Woody Harrelson, gets cancer or whatever, and he decides not to kind of become a burden on his family or go through the treatments and all of those things. He decides rather to take his life, and that, I think that sort of sentiment triggered that line. Like, I often wonder, what would I do in that situation? I don't have the answer, and I don't know what the right answer is. But yeah, that's weird how that movie that's stored in the like back chamber of your mind suddenly, oh yeah, freaking, that suddenly into a lyric.
Do you think you're thinking a little bit about your mortality now that you're a father as well?
No, well, yeah, and that's it. It's like I always say, that life's got these phases. You know, there's the formative years where I call it the I just can't wait to get out of school phase, You know, it's like another quote: "Youth is wasted on the young." We just want to be older, right? When actually it's probably one of the best times in your life.
Yeah.
And then you kind of leave school and you celebrate 21sts, and then it's weddings, and then it's children, and then there's kind of like this wow moment where it's like divorces, and yeah, you know, like your parents and your friends' parents and grandparents, and they, you know, start passing on. And then and then there's friends as well that get sick, and so I, you know, it's I'm pretty ambivalent about death. It's inevitable. So it's not like I'm afraid of it. Um, yeah, I think from a philosophical point of view, though, it is I like to I like to do the mental gymnastics and then put it into a song.
Amazing. I love it.
There's no
Talk
definitive
to us
answer.
about this topic. It's a great topic.
Yeah.
And yeah, very, very interesting stuff. So let's hear how it came out.
So I've unpacked a lot there. I've unpacked a lot.
Yeah.
But I think why I went down that thing is because I shared the song with some friends, and they're like, "Yes, is everything okay? You got a bit of a dark line in there." But I've always like you know, touched on melancholy, but I mostly am very optimistic and grateful and hopeful, and I am very grateful that I got to live, you know, in this vast universe.
Yeah.
I somehow got gifted with consciousness and got to create. I mean,
Beautiful.
yeah. Yeah.
Really beautiful.
I've been thinking about love. I've been thinking about its evolution. Doesn't need another song if it's only an illusion. Buzzhead, aluminum buzzhead, aluminium buzzhead, aluminum buzzhead, aluminium. I've been thinking about hope. I've been hoping for a revolution. Mona Lisa is a liar. I never felt so inspired. Buzzhead, aluminum buzzhead, aluminium buzzhead, aluminum buzzhead, aluminium. You said I would be happy. You said I would be motivated. Oh, I am bored. I am uninspired. You said I would be happy. You said I would be motivated. Oh, I am bored. I am uninspired. Buzzhead, aluminum buzzhead, aluminium buzzhead, aluminum buzzhead, aluminium, aluminium. You said I would be happy. You said I would be motivated. Oh, I am bored. I am uninspired. You said I would be happy. You said I would be motivated. Oh, I am bored. I am uninspired. I've been thinking about life. I've been thinking about how to end it. Oh, with a bang, or late in love and a little drunk.
Yay!
Was so cool. So cool.
So nice.
What a privilege. What an absolute privilege, Kahn. I felt like you were right here in the room. I really loved it. I love that song.
Thank you.
And yeah, I'm so I feel so privileged that it's on the album, and for everybody who's going to get the opportunity to own one of the very few. We're only releasing 100 copies, so in the whole world, forever and ever, there will only be 100 copies of this song that people can own. So only 100 people. Can
I'm
you
buying
believe
yours, Josie.
it?
I said, I'm buying yours, Josie.
Yeah, I'm buying all of them.
All of them.
Yeah, I'm buying the album.
I'm going to buy all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a cool song, Kahn. What an earworm. As you said earlier, Kitty, just really, really cool. Nice bounce. Nice bounce. I like that.
Thank you.
Bounce with the melancholy. Like,
Yeah.
so nice.
Contradiction.
Yeah, I love that.
I'm so melancholic.
And the artist Carol Levy, who is with Gamma Marketplace on Stacks, she's a dot artist, and she's drawn the most beautiful artwork to go with this of a whiskey glass in a bar, but just with tiny dots, and it's her art, isn't it divine? Oh no! Come on!
I'm a good puppy, all right?
What the hell is wrong with me? I'm so embarrassed. Good God.
It's all good. I love art, so you can call me art. It's all
Maybe I've got like a secret crush on art, and I'm like constantly thinking.
The Freudian slip.
Yeah, I'm just constantly thinking about my love affair that I could be having with art. Yeah, so it's this beautiful, I can't wait for everyone to see it. It's really a beautiful piece of artwork. And the same for you, Josie. Narton did yours.
Yeah.
Narton, yeah.
Yeah, I saw it a while ago, so I can't really remember exactly how it goes, but it is really gorgeous. And I can't wait to see all the art together, because
it looks amazing.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I can't speak for the other artists, but I love what Carol, that's right, that's her name, eh? Yeah. I feel like she captured like this mood, the mood of the song. Yeah, I could almost felt like that whiskey glass was mine.
Yeah, like you could reach out, pick it up.
Yeah. It was, yeah. Kudos, Carol. I'm sure you're not watching this interview, but
She might be. Let's just say she is. Hey, Carol, how you doing? Giving you a shout out and a thanks. Just while we're doing that, actually, let me quickly say hello. There's some folks in the audience that are always here. Reese is here. Reese actually is the artist behind the cover art. He has drawn the most beautiful piece of artwork, and we've kind of morphed it a little bit for the album art. But if somebody buys the full track, all 8 tracks in one go, then they get that original art as well as an NFT. So, and I mean, yeah, he's a very talented artist. Also, I see Hadi is here. He's one of my partner in crimes. So very cool to see you, Hadi. Thanks for always joining. Andy. Yeah, I'm just sort of scrolling down, but let me stop scrolling down. There's a lot of links there as well. But yeah, there are a lot of my favorite people as well in the audience. I'm so glad you're here. And let us now bless you with the voice of Josie Field. Your song is called Radio Silence.
Yeah.
So quick little, what's it about?
Yeah, so basically, the last, little while, I've been writing songs. I mean, I've been focusing on time and how time is slipping away and it's limited. And I just seem to always be drawn to the idea of time. So I write a lot of songs about time itself. And goodbyes, saying goodbyes, the sadness of, having lost someone or having to say goodbye to someone. So that is, and then trying to make sense of all that. So that is what the song is about. Radio Silence, when things end, I suppose, is kind of the gist of the song. So I'll play that for you now. I work with this amazing producer called Kevin Leisha, who you both know.
Yes, Kev.
He and I have been partners for a long time, musical partners, and he's obviously an awesome producer. I'm doing this on my own. He would normally play the most gorgeous guitars, but here I go. I'll do it. You'll hear it like bedroom style. I'm in a bedroom right now. So this is exactly how I wrote the song.
Amazing. That's how sometimes people want to hear it, man. This is so cool. All right. Yay. Go for it.
You left me hanging with talk about a song that you wanted to sing me, and I've been waiting all so long. Thought it might come to me in a dream. Thought it might come to me when I was driving. Thought it might come to me in between coffee and the radio silence. But mountains still stand and rivers still flow. And I ain't going back, 'cause you won't be home. Trains will pass and suns will set. Ain't it strange that we still go on like you never left? Like you never left. The world's a small place now. You can call me anytime. When you called, I never answered, and I haven't stopped asking myself why. Thought it might come to me in a dream. Thought it might come to me while I was driving. Thought it might come to me in between coffee and the radio silence. Why then the mountains still stand and rivers still flow? Ain't going back, 'cause you won't be home. Trains will pass and suns will set. Ain't it strange that we still go on like you never left? Like you never left. You're gone with your song. 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 Oh, you're gone with your song. You're gone with your song. How come you never left a note? You never said goodbye. And in your final lonely hours, always playing on my mind. Thought it might come to me in a dream. Thought it might come to me while I was driving. Thought it might come to me in between coffee and the radio silence. Silence.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Lekker.
Thanks.
That's so amazing, Josie. Thank you so much. My husband's clapping in the background.
Yay.
Is it your husband art or your?
Yeah.
It's a hit. It's buzzing in my ear.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. And the dog is in here all of a sudden. Oh my gosh. Okay. Very professional. Wow, that's so beautiful. My gosh, Josie.
Thank you.
Both of you. I love the sounds. I love the artists on this album. I think they all sound so good together. So I'm really excited to get it out there. Do you guys want to? And it's just been like incredible talking to you today. I really could do this for probably another hour or so, because we've barely touched on the surface of what I wanted to talk to you about. But yeah, that means I'm hoping to do a whole lot more of these shows and just kind of really delve into what it's like to be an artist, and more music as well, because we've got ways of we're building ways where you can perform live like this and earn Bitcoin, be supported in Bitcoin. So they're doing all those kind of things, so watch the space, watch blockchain.
Yeah,
Awesome.
no, kudos to you, GoodKitty,
Yeah.
for doing this all. Much love, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it takes me just energy doing a Twitter post. So the amount of energy you must have put into this whole vibe, I'm truly grateful.
Yeah, me too. I think me and Kahn feel the same way about it. We're very grateful for the opportunity and for you taking in this new direction. Like, I don't have the capacity to go where you are going. But I feel like that is the future, and I want to be part of that. So thanks for reaching out, and thanks for having us part of the album.
Yeah, it's my absolute pleasure. I mean, it's been my life journey to change the industry. Obviously being married to a musician, I'm very aware of the, of what it's like, and what musicians need to do to survive. And I've been fighting with Sony Music for 10 years, and I've realized in that journey that record labels have become law firms with a very small marketing department, and it just angered me. I'm not angry anymore. Now I'm very optimistic about the people that I've met, having the way we work now. I mean, you guys know how difficult it is to go out there and meet people and engage with people on a global scale. We're doing that. These people are coming together from all over the world who have these same visions of going like, fuck fiat and fuck the systems that are chomping it away at our self-respect, and our in every way possible. So, for me, I feel so passionate about it. And if I do one thing with my life, it will be to make sure that art is respected, creators are respected, and our evidence is stored properly, and that's on Bitcoin. So
Awesome.
sorry about my soliloquy there. I just get very passionate about it. I forget that I'm the interviewer and not being interviewed.
No, but it's important. I'm being educated. You know what I mean? In the process, it's. I think too often musos have become like almost like what's the word? Deflated.
Complacent.
Yeah. Well, no, not complacent. Complacent is when you think you're cruising. Like we've almost given up to the idea that anything's going to change or that it's going to get better. So I think it's important for people like you to come around and say, it doesn't only have to be that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least even if it doesn't change, at least we're trying. At least you're trying. It's
That's right.
It's better than
we're all trying, and
yeah.
That's what this is, Kahn. This is not me saying to you like, come on, we're going to release an album and we're going to change the world today. You know, this is the first brick in the wall. This is even the foundation. Well, the foundation is sort of there, but we are the first brick that is being put down, you know, on Stacks for this way. I mean, music has been released on Stacks before, but in a sort of a more generic marketplace for all art. Whereas this platform that we are building is very, very specific for music. And it's not the only platform that is being built on Stacks. There's another platform called AudioBox. And then there's another platform called Boom. It's actually a wallet. And in that wallet, you can create storefronts.
All
So
right. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
it is, yeah. And Gated is also going to have those storefronts in it for artists. So your music, your releases will all be on your page. So people can go and, if you know, buy them on secondary market. We are working for people to be able to create playlists inside the product, you know. So, but it's just, there's a lot of work and a lot of time that goes into it, you know. But we're going to get there. And just for any musicians that are listening, you can go to goodkitty.xyz, and you'll see a little button there that says submit your music. If you do want to submit your music, and see if we can get you involved with this project, please do. If you're keen to take some risks and do something, you know, as a first. But there, you can see the button. Thanks, Nick. That's my website. Okay, guys. Any final words? Any final thoughts? Maybe we discussed what you guys are working on now? What have we got? Any final words?
So for me, I am in the writing phase now of something that I hope to release probably toward the end of next year. But I'm excited to see how this album works. Obviously, it's being released on the 19th of November, so that's quite soon. It's really exciting. I wrote this song a little while ago, and I haven't told a soul about it. So I'm excited to see what people think of it. And yeah, so grateful to have this opportunity with you today, and to catch up with Kahn as well. Like, you know, there's South African musicians all over the world. We're doing our own thing. We're busy working as hard as we can, either music full time or not. But it's just nice to also touch base with other artists and see that there are similarities and that we are still working away, plugging away and doing our thing. So Kahn, yeah, thank you for sharing a little bit about you today. It's been a while.
Yeah. I mean, I think what I realized is, although our journeys may be different, they're very, very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah. in their own way.
Yeah, it's inspiring.
Whole journey kind of thing. Yeah. So
Cool.
yeah, and I look forward to hearing the album.
Me too.
I love that song. Yeah, your voice is like honey. Yeah, it's great.
Thanks. Cool.
All right, cool, guys. Well, I hope we can do it again. My dream would be to kind of create like a concert with everybody. A friend of mine, Trip and Monkey, is developing this thing where you can sell tickets to an event.
Cool.
With Stacks or Bitcoin. And I was thinking that maybe, because he's also not really, you know, he hasn't done too much, also sort of just being developed, a lot of it. It's super fun trying out all these new things, because it's kind of like you're being a part of history, really, in what you're doing here, you know, and especially since we're only doing 100 albums. Imagine. Yeah. Oh, what I wanted to ask you, are you going to tell your in real life audiences about this? Like on your social medias and stuff? Like, what are your thoughts about that? Is it weird for you to do that? Or do you just think that I don't know anything, so you don't want to, like...
What do you mean? Say that again? Are we going to tell people that we're doing this project?
Yeah, like on your social media. Like,
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You just tell me what to do and where to input it, and I'll do it.
I'm with you on that one. I'm like, yeah, of course I'm going to tell people. I just wanted to do this interview, this live interview, so I could actually know how to tell people.
I'm gonna make a little press pack this week for you guys.
Cool. That'd be great.
Yeah. and then take it and punch it into ChatGPT and say, what must I say if people ask me these questions? And get some standard replies from good old ChatGPT.
So what I wanted to ask you, that if I went now to that site and I wanted to buy the album, I can. It's live.
No, it's not.
19th.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Gary's still building it. So
Okay.
that's why it's on his like page. So you see there, it's got his name above it. He's the dev.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah. So
Yeah.
he's just building it, and behind the scenes, he's busy making the, it'll be like www.gated/blocktune.so or something like that. I don't know if Gary's in the audience to confirm that, but it's something. So we'll have a page, and then you'll each also be able to have a page like www.josiefield.gated.so, something like that. So you'll also be able to have all your tracks on your own page. You'll be able to message, put messaging on there. So it's kind of like this combination of, it's like social selling, for want of a better word, or you know what I mean? You kind of able to sell your stuff within a social network.
Yes.
Inside your wallet.
Yeah,
kind of crazy.
Yeah, this is
a lot of fun.
Yeah, fun project. Yeah.
So I'm just going to invite you onto all the new things that we do. And you're also welcome to like come along to our Twitter spaces that happen on a Tuesday. I am going to start a new show called the GoodKitty Show during the week.
Okay.
So definitely want to do it again.
Just
ping
me WhatsApp, because I know you. I'm seldom on social media. So just say there's a DM for you, and then I'll go check my DMs. But otherwise,
well, you guys all know my real name, so I'll make a WhatsApp group to make it easier for you guys.
Okay.
Cool. Great.
Right, guys,
I don't even know what my real name is anymore. It might be off. I'm not sure.
Oh my God, that is like the worst interview I've ever done. I don't even know what came over me. I've known you for how many years? I definitely know your name is Kahn. It's not like we first met.
Yeah, I know. Still good.
I don't know why that happened. That is so awkward and so embarrassing.
I'm going to slip.
It's like everything you should do in an interview, like call the person the wrong name most of the time.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you're not even calling me by my real name, so.
No, well, I mean, that's because I'm meant to, right?
Okay, sorry. I'll make it up to you.
No, I really don't mind. I promise you, I'm just taking the piss. I don't mind. Yeah.
All right, guys. So just a reminder for everybody, When Walls Break is the album. It's going to be available on the 19th of November, exclusively to the Stacks community through Gated. You can head over to gated.so right now to have a tiny sneak preview of what it is going to look like. It is just a work in progress at the moment, so that's not the final product, but it'll give you an idea. You can actually go and listen to 30 seconds of each of the tracks as well. For those people who are not in the Stacks community, you will need a Xverse wallet, and you will need some Stacks currency to buy the album. My DMs on Twitter are open. You can go to my website, goodkitty.xyz. The link is in the description below, and you can contact me, and I am more than welcome to guide you through all the info that you need to be able to buy this album. And support these artists who are really trying to build a whole new future. So thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you, Josie, and thank you, Kahn, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you to Bitcoin Live DB and Nick, as well as Peace Love at The Organized Media, for making this possible. And don't forget to follow Blockchain Music for more updates. And I will see you later. I will see you not later. I will see you next week We've got only 10 days until the minting of the album, so lots of work to do over the next couple of days. But yeah, here we go. Thanks, Josie.
Cool.
Thanks, Kahn. And I'll
Thank
see
you.
Bye, bye,
All
bye,
right. Let's love you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
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 Love, I've been thinking about its evolution. Does it need another song?
That you wanted to sing me, and I've been waiting.
You're wondering, I so bewildered. It's you. You make it alright.
We've slipped into grey.
I'm struggling to find a reason.
Much space.